بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
In the name of God Almighty, the most gracious, the most merciful.
آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. اسمحوا لي باسم
Allow me, on behalf of the President and members of the Board of Directors, to welcome all the attendees of Abu Dhabi Islamic Bank convened this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, the shareholders
أو يمثلون بالوكالة
representing stocks of 2,235,097,348
من رأس مال المصرف
out of the capital of the bank, and therefore there is definitely a quorum which is made available. And when we announced the invitation for the annual general meeting of ADIB, it was made according to the articles of association and the law of the companies, and number 2021 over 320 issued 10 January 2021, and therefore the conditions of the convening of the AGM has been achieved, and the decisions emanating from this meeting are considered lawful and important according to the law of commercial companies. Ladies and gentlemen, according to Article 182 of the Decree of Federal Law number 26 of the year 2020 regarding the amendment of some of the provisions of the Federal Law number 2 of 2015 regarding the commercial companies, according to the decision of the Board of Directors of ADIB on the 4th of March 2021. We have chosen member of the Board of Directors, Dr. Faisal Sultan Al-Shaibi, to head the meeting of the annual general meeting of Abu Dhabi Islamic Bank, where he said that he will appoint Ghaith Mismar as a rapporteur and Mr. Mahmoud as a collector of votes, and the secretariat of Mr. Jamal Abu Dakan. If you have no objection, we shall consider this approval confirmed, and we move on to thank all those who have registered their presence in the annual general meeting, which is being convened according to the circular number 326 over 2021 issued 10/1/2021 from the gentleman at the Securities Authority. And according to the demand of the authority, we shall give a very detailed explanation for the gentlemen, the shareholders, about the mechanism of electronic voting. We have opened the door of registration and voting for the shareholders on 1 April 2021 at 6 p.m. exactly, and it was closed definitely at 5 p.m. of this evening, Sunday, 4 April 2021. And the shareholders registered through this electronic portal, which was defined and informed to the shareholders through an announcement through the local newspapers and on the page of the Abu Dhabi Securities Authority. After making sure that the data given is confirmed, a text was sent to all registered shareholders. It included the name of the user and the password. And the shareholders entered the password, their own password, to be able to follow up the meeting of the annual general meeting and to vote. Upon opening the door for voting, the item that will be voted on will be put on the screen with the choices of voting, and the shareholders need to choose their own choice out of the choices given to you on the screen. Upon choosing, a confirmation message will be made available that they've or that we've taken the vote and it was preserved in the system directly. If the shareholder needed to change his own voting, he needs to choose another choice. And therefore, in case the shareholder wanted to cancel his own voting, and therefore he needs to press on the choice directly on the screen. Upon the closure of the voting, the result of the voting will be shown directly on the screen ahead of you, and the voting will be counted according to the number of shareholders the shareholders own. As to the questions regarding the agenda of the AGM, the questions will be asked through this link, and it will be answered through the meeting of the annual general meeting. And we shall keep on getting your questions, the questions of the shareholders, definitely through the meeting of the AGM until finishing the discussion of all the items of the agenda. The events will be registered by sound and a picture, and it will be made available on the portal of Adib so that the shareholders will be able to get to know what's going on and to see the video. And we would like to mention that the Securities Authority is observing the meeting represented by its own delegate, Mr. Ahmed Al-Naqbi. I would like to mention that the external auditors, Deloitte, are also attending the meeting through their representative, Mr. Ala Saleh. We shall start discussing the items in the agenda according to the items aforementioned in the agenda. Item 1, to hear to discuss and approve the Board of Directors report of Adib's activities and financial statements for the year which ended on 31 December 2020. Dr. Faisal, please go ahead. Assalamu alaikum. In the name of God Almighty, the it's an honor on behalf of Abu Dhabi Board of Directors to welcome you for the year 2020. The year 2020 was exceptional, filled with unprecedented challenges due to Corona. Despite these challenges, Adib was able to prove its strength and leniency, where we had results and we achieved great results for the second half of the year with the return of operations to its quasi-regular transactions. I would like to express my thanks and gratitude to the government of the UAE for their constant support for the national economy and the program of incentives, financial incentives, which is unprecedented, approved for the companies and the banks due to their wise leadership and wise guidance and steps. And I would like, on behalf of the Board of Directors, to thank the employees and the management of the employees of Abu Adib for their efforts exerted in these very difficult times to create a true value on all levels. And I would like to express my thanks and gratitude to the members of the Sharia Committee for their support and guidance for the year 2020. In the framework of the ramifications of Corona, the UAE government, as usual, was present with strength and force in these difficult and unprecedented times to protect the individuals and raise livelihood, in addition to support the banking and business sector through a package of incentives, which was confirmed last March. This initiative in the banking sector was able to support the customers affected by Corona, especially those which are not able to pay their loans, whether individuals or companies. And this support came at a time where it succeeded for more than 320,000 customers. It was a great message to investors all over the world that the leadership in the UAE and its economy are very strong and stable, where even in the most difficult times and amidst this reality, Abu Dhabi Islamic Bank was able to preserve its leniency and to achieve a revival through the second half of 2020, in addition to the activity, the economic activity, and the improvement of the performance of the units. And we registered a rise in the profits, where it was registered compared to the first quarter, and very high yields due to its stringent programs. And this very strong performance is for the second half of last year is due to the activities of work and the quickness of its steps. And despite the yields on a yearly basis, the bank was able to achieve great strides through having well-studied programs and raising the efficiency, which helped in achieving yields on the margins of costs and the capital adequacy, 14.5%. As a result of this, the board of directors have recommended to really distribute costs almost 20%, which will represent 46% of the overall profits of the bank by 31 December 2020. It did not only announce the results in the year 2020, the bank took a number of very prestigious rewards, Sheikh Khalifa Award for Excellence, and it was chosen as one of the best banks in the field of Islamic funding by Global Finance, ascertaining as a very important status and appreciation of its electronic services given since the beginning of Corona. It was given an award of the best supportive bank through the pandemic. Throughout the 2020, it confirmed from 25% to 40% of the capital in the year 2020, the rise in the property of the foreigners, with our strategy in supporting the basis, which is less than last year, the international markets, which will take a very important step for recovery after the pandemic and Corona. The recovery is according to the level of stress and the level of profits arising from the defaulting loans and the leniency enjoyed by Adib. It went through great strides, definitely, on the efforts of giving loans and electronic transformation and great liquidity, which it has, and the capital of the bank with great steps, and which are factors that are of vital importance for the bank to carry on with the growth factor. In the year 2021, we shall focus on giving further support to promote this transformation in the electronic aspect and to preserve our status and position, and to support this economic recovery of the UAE through the funding of individuals and companies to achieve a sustainable sustainable growth. In conclusion, and after this year, which we have faced great challenges, unprecedented challenges, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the family of Adib, including board of directors and management and the employees who are working tirelessly in very strict conditions throughout this year. I would like to ascertain that their commitment is continuous and their perseverance will always be a place for praise and appreciation. I would like to thank our customers and shareholders and the Central Bank of the UAE for their support and their trust. And we wish you all the success. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, before moving on to discuss the remaining of the items and the agenda, allow me to mention to what was mentioned in the yearly report, item number 4 for disclosure number 38, entitled Zakat. These two disclosures, as mentioned in the yearly report, was as a result of the instructions of the Central Bank of the UAE, which asked of all banks, Islamic banks, and the companies, Islamic companies for funding to do what's necessary to give zakat and to give 20% of the overall amounts of money to the zakat fund in the UAE, and this is according to the decision of the cabinet 15/9 for 2020, and accordingly the financial data were sent to the Central Bank of the UAE, and it was approved. On the 16th of February 2021, a message or a letter was sent by the Central Bank of the UAE announcing that the Islamic banks and other companies funding Islamic companies, that the cabinet has issued a decision number 50/1000 for the year 2021, where they approved its cancellation of its formal decision. And accordingly, if you notice on the screen, these two disclosures were, according to what's ahead of you on the screen, and what goes hand in hand with what was being published previously and written in the previous yearly reports. Ladies and gentlemen, we move now to item number 2 of the agenda of the AGM, which is the report of auditor's report for the year ending 31 December 2020. Before we move, we would like to mention for the shareholders the report of the board of directors. Kindly vote to confirm if you don't have any comments.
التصويت الآن مقفل.
We've ended the voting now. It was approved. The report of the Board of Directors. Thank you. Now we move to the second item, the report of the external auditors. The year ended 31 December 2020. Mr. Ala, please go ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, the shareholders of ADIB report about the consolidated statements for Abu Dhabi Islamic Bank, which constitutes the consolidated financial statement as of 31 December 2020, and the consolidated income statement, the comprehensive statement, and the changes in the rights of the shareholders, and cash flows, and the clarifications about the consolidated financial statements, which includes conclusion of the accounting policies and other clarifications. In our opinion, that the financial statements shows from all sides the financial status of the bank as of 31 December 2020 and its consolidated financial performance and cash flows according to the international criteria and the financial report. Main issues according to our own profession, it is one of the most important, and when it comes to the accuracy of the consolidated financial statements for the current status, and this is our opinion. We do not give a separate opinion about this. It includes one decrease in the value of the assets and the changes in the IT. A report about the other legal entities according to the federal law in the UAE number 2 of the year 2015, which says the following: we have taken all the information that we have seen necessary for our auditing. Consolidated financial statements were prepared from all sides, which goes hand in hand with the provisions of the federal law number 2 of the year 2015, and the bank has taken the books of the legal accounting, and then the financial statements have a report from the board of directors, which goes hand in hand with the bank's accounting policy. And the clarification number 20 about the financial data for the purchases or investment in the shares that were done by end of year 31 December 2020, and clarification number 40 about the financial data and the financial data for the social contributions as well. We signed our report, Deloitte and Touche. Ladies and gentlemen, and now for voting to approve this item, we shall open the door for voting.
الآن باب التصويت مقفل، وتمت المصادقة على تقرير مدققي الحسابات.
The external auditor's report was approved unanimously.
إلى البند 3
We move to item 3,
وهو الاستماع إلى تقرير
which is the report of the Sharia
المصرف
committee about the works of the bank through this financial year ending 31 December 2020 to discuss and approve. In the name of God Almighty, the most gracious, the most merciful. In the name of God, Dr. Jassim Al-Shamsi. Good evening, Dr. Jassim. In the name of God Almighty, the most graceful, the most merciful, the yearly report of the Sharia Committee. In the name of God Almighty, the most gracious, the most merciful. To the gentlemen, the shareholders of ADIB, peace be upon you all. The Sharia, Internal Sharia Committee, and according to the demands written in the laws and regulations, we are giving our report for the year ended 31 December 2020. In the beginning, the responsibility of the committee, according to the observational demands and its organizational list that would define the Sharia on all the works, activities, products, services, documents, and the accounting criteria and the profits and financial statements and articles of association, and sending decisions, Sharia decisions, and putting the right restraints that would commit to the Islamic Sharia and the framework of the laws and regulations put by the higher Sharia committee to guarantee its conformity with the laws and regulations. The higher committee would take the responsibility of the decisions of the committee in the framework of the laws and regulations set by the committee in all its works, and to make sure that it is there, and the board of directors is held responsible in this regard. The Sharia criteria, it has adopted the criteria issued by the accounting committee, which is the minimum to commit to and to agree to and to recommend when it comes to the work of the institution during the financial year ended without exception, according to the decision number 18/3/2018. The work done by the committee during this financial year, the observation on the work of the committee through the work of the institution according to its own responsibilities and the demands of observation and the work that it has done. 4 meetings have been convened throughout the financial year. A meeting has been convened for the executive committee and another for the members, and to issue the fatwa and decisions and to give perspectives regarding the work. C, to review the policies and the procedural lists and the accounting criteria and the product structures and the contracts documents, work references, and to make sure that the gains are being distributed amongst the shareholders and the investors along with the Sharia restraints, and the observation through this Sharia sector on the work of the institution, including the procedures being implemented and followed according to certain samples of implemented processes, to give directions to the related entities in the institution and to correct what can be corrected of comments given in the reports given by the Sharia sector, and to give decisions to avoid what should be avoided when it comes to the revenues of the transactions, and to adopt the correctional procedures or preventional procedures regarding the mistakes that have been disclosed. And the statement of the zakat, which is on every single share of the shares of the institutions, to review the implementation of the plan of Sharia accuracy or internal auditing for the financial year, and to give this plan for the financial year ending 31 December 2021, and to give the reports necessary for other external sectors. And we will have to make sure that all information and explanations are being considered seriously. The independence of the committee, we would like to ascertain that we are responsible and we did all our works with complete independence, and we've taken all the facilities by the institution and its board of directors to get to know all the documents and the data and to discuss the amendments and the Sharia demands. 5, the opinion of the committee when it comes to the commitment of the Islamic Sharia, what we got of information and clarifications to make sure that the institution is committed by the Islamic Sharia. The committee has done its responsibilities with an acceptable manner, and that the work of the institution throughout this financial year goes hand in hand with the Islamic Sharia. It was noticed that some of the infractions have been put in the report, and the committee have taken the necessary procedures, and the opinion of the committee has been built on information given throughout this financial year. We wish you all the success. May the peace of God be upon you all.
هيئة الرقابة الشرعية الداخلية للمصرف.
The internal Sharia committee. We shall open the door for voting to approve the internal Sharia supervisory committee's report.
الآن التصويت، باب التصويت مفتوح. تم إغلاق باب التصويت. وتمت المصادقة بالأغلبية على قرار هيئة الفتوى والرقابة الشرعية. شكرا. ننتقل الآن إلى البند الرابع من جدول الأعمال، وهو مناقشة ميزانية المصرف وحساب الأرباح والخسائر عن السنة المالية المنتهية في 31 ديسمبر 2020 والمصادقة عليها. هذا البند يستتبع فتح باب النقاش وتوجيه الأسئلة، وأمامي سيد الرئيس عدد من الأسئلة إذا تسمح لي. السؤال الأول من السيد صلاح محمد عبد الله عبد الرحيم، يسأل: توزيع الأرباح المعتمد من المصرف هي 50% من الأرباح، لماذا تم التخفيض الآن؟ وشكرا.
شكرا للسؤال.
شكرا دكتور فيصل. بالنسبة لتوزيع الأرباح وتحديد نسبة التوزيع، فهي تخضع لمعايير دقيقة للحفاظ على حقوق المساهمين وحقوق المصرف. بالنسبة لنسبة التوزيع السنة دي 46.6%، فهي تعتبر من أعلى النسب للمصرف في السنوات السابقة، علما بأن السنة الماضية كانت 38.2%، ونثق في أن نحافظ على هذا السجل في المستقبل.
سيد الرئيس، سؤال آخر من أحد المساهمين يستفسر عن ماهية استراتيجية النمو في المصرف.
شكرا على السؤال. اذا تسمحوا لي انا بجاوب على السؤال هذا. مصرف ابو ظبي الاسلامي حقيقه من المصارف المتميزه في التخطيط الاستراتيجي، كان له دائما استراتيجيات واضحه، رؤيه واضحه، مستهدفات واضحه، ولا جفرنس واضح في حوكمه واداره ومتابعه مؤشرات الاداء بشكل واضح وممنهج، ويتم الافصاح عن النتائج بشكل دوري. لكن مثل ما هو معروف ان جائحه كورونا غيرت شكل العالم واقتصاديات العالم، فبالتالي كان المصرف حريص على استخدام او الاستفاده من افضل بيوت الخبره في هذا المجال لدراسه الفرص المستقبليه والتحديات الحاليه الموجوده واللي تواجه قطاع المصارف بشكل عام. وحاليا احنا في المراحل الاخيره من اعتماد استراتيجيه جديده مبنيه على مجموعه من المرتكزات، اهمها اداره المواهب، الابتكار في التمويل الاسلامي، تعزيز الحصه السوقيه للمصرف والتحول بطبيعه الحال التحول الرقمي، وهو يمكن النقاط اللي راح ننافس عليها ان شاء الله في الفتره القادمه. وان شاء الله في بعد ما يتم اعتمادها بشكل نهائي راح نرجع لكم ان شاء الله في عمليه الافصاح عن استراتيجيتنا المستقبليه. شكرا.
سيدي، سؤال آخر من أحد المساهمين يتمحور عن خطط المصرف المستقبلية للتحول الرقمي، وما الذي يميز باقة العروض الرقمية التي يقدمها المصرف، وهل هناك خطط للمزيد من الابتكار وعدد عملاء المصرف الذين يستخدمون القنوات الرقمية؟
والله سؤال مهم، شكرا على السؤال. اسمحوا لي نخلي الإدارة تجاوب على السؤال هذا. سنديب. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum. Our digital strategy is focused on making a real impact to our customers. Innovation has been at the heart of our strategy to enhancing the customer experience and launching innovative Islamic products. We continue to digitize both customer-facing channels and our internal operations with a view to deliver speed and efficiency in our operations. We have implemented leading digital tools like artificial intelligence, robotics, big data analytics, and cloud. We have partnered with several leading fintechs to deliver world-class experience. Today, 78% of our customers are digitally active, and 50% of our sales is originating digitally. Our digital projects and strategy has yielded 8% reduction in our cost efficiencies. So our strategy has been very successful, and we remain focused to continue to invest to grow our business. Thank you.
Thank you.
سيدة، السؤال الأخير الآن أمامي من أحد المساهمين.
The last question from one of the shareholders: what did the bank do regarding decrease of costs?
بالنسبة لتخفيض التكاليف
As to the decrease of costs, ADIB is considered a very pioneering banking institution for individuals. As to the costs of 2021 compared to 2019, it has witnessed a decrease in cost by 8%, which is almost 1 million dirham compared to last year. This is a lot compared to 8 billion. So this is a reflection of the success of this digital system, which is the basis of rationalizing costs, knowing that we are giving the same services, but in a better way. And it is cost effective, and this is very trustworthy from the customers, and this system that would lessen the costs definitely, and we shall work on improving the rate amongst costs. Thank you. Along with the end of the questions and discussion regarding item 4, when it comes to the balance sheet profit and loss statement for the year that ended on 31 December 2020, we shall now open the vote or the door for voting to vote for this item.
صمت خشوع لأذان صلاة العصر المغرب.
Silence is prevailing now for prayer.
نستكمل الآن الاجتماع. تم التصويت
We shall continue the meeting. It was agreed on the item 4 regarding the approval and discussion of Arib's balance sheet profit and loss statement for the year ended 31 December 2020, and the agreement was unanimous. We move to item 5 to discuss and approve the Board of Directors' recommendation on cash dividends in the sum of 747,343,000 dirhams, and by 20.58% of the share's nominal value, which is 20.58 fils per share of the net profit for the year 2020. The door for voting is open now to approve this item.
الباب التصويت مفتوح الآن.
The door for voting is open.
تم إقفال باب التصويت.
The door for voting now is closed, and it was agreed unanimously on this item. Thank you. We move now to item number 6 of the agenda, just to discuss and determine the Board of Directors' remuneration proposal for the financial year that ended on 31st December 2020 to be 7,350,000 dirhams, which is almost 1 million dirham for every member. It was approved within the profit and loss accounts for the year ended 31 December 2020. This is being given to be voted for.
الآن باب التصويت مفتوح.
We have opened voting now.
تم إقفال باب التصويت و
The door for voting is closed now, and this item was approved unanimously. Item 7 of the agenda, to exonerate the liability of the Board of Directors, of the members of the Board of Directors for the financial year that ended on 31 December 2020. This item is being given for voting.
إخوان، هذا لا يعفي حسب القانون.
According to the law, this cannot be exonerated from any responsibility given to the members of the Board of Directors according to the law of the companies. The door for voting now is open.
أغلق باب التصويت.
Door for voting is closed now. The result, unanimous agreement for item number 7. Item 8, exonerate the external auditors from liability for the financial year that ended 31 December 2020. Same applies here regarding the law of the companies. God forbid any infraction will not relieve the external auditors from any liability. This is being now put for voting.
تم فتح باب التصويت.
Now we have opened the floor for voting.
باب التصويت. صادق السادة والسيدات المساهمين.
Ladies and gentlemen, the shareholders have voted unanimously on this item. Item 9 now, the appointment of the members of the Internal Sharia Control Committee for the year 2021. It is worthy noting that the Board of Directors have recommended to the Annual General Meeting the nomination of the gentlemen as members for the Internal Sharia Control Committee for the year 2021. Dr. Jassim Al-Shamsi, Sheikh Isam Ishaq, دكتور محمد عبد الرحيم سلطان العلماء.
وضع هذا الترشيح للتصويت.
This is being put for nomination and for voting.
تم فتح باب التصويت. أغلق باب التصويت.
Voting now is closed.
صادق السادة والسيدات المساهمين.
Ladies and gentlemen, the shareholders have approved item 9 unanimously.
ننتقل
We move now to item 10,
11 من جدول الأعمال.
item 11.
عملا بالبند
Item 11,
المادة 40
pursuant to Clause 4 of Article 40 of the Governance Manual issued by Securities and Commodities Authority and without prejudice to the provisions of Article 178 of the Companies Law regarding regulating the appointment of shareholder
فيما يخص ضوابط تعيين ممثلي المساهمين في الجمعية.
shareholder representatives for general assemblies to approve the appointment of representatives, two representatives of the shareholders to attend the upcoming assembly meetings and voting on its decisions on behalf of the shareholders, if required by the shareholders, and determining the representative fees.
ويقترح مجلس الإدارة على السادة
The board of directors suggests appointing Isa Salim as lawyers, 10,000 dirhams fees for attending the AGM and 500 dirhams, maximum 100,000 dirhams, and Mr. Ali Jassim for a law firm and legal consultations, 15,000 dirhams as fees, and the meeting of the board of directors, and 300 dirham for every proxy, maximum 300,000. This is a new item, and according to the laws and regulations of governance, now the companies, the shareholder companies are committed to appoint two representatives of from law firms and to bear their fees until they are called by any shareholders to represent them in the AGM. This item has been put for voting, item number 11, and this is a legal requirement at the moment.
التصويت الآن مفتوح.
The voting now is open.
أقفل باب التصويت.
We have now closed the door for voting. And item number 11 has been approved unanimously. We go back to item 10 of the agenda, the appointment of external auditors for the financial year 2021 and to determine their fees. It is worthy noting that the Board of Directors has recommended to the Annual General Assembly to appoint Deloitte as external auditors for Abu Dhabi Islamic Bank for the financial year 2021 and to define their yearly fees when it comes to revision and auditing with a value of 1,370,000 dirhams, which represents an increase of 7.8 percent of compared to the previous year. This item will be voted for.
تم فتح باب التصويت. تم إغلاق باب التصويت.
Voting now is closed. And item 10 has been agreed upon and voted for unanimously. We move now, ladies and gentlemen, the shareholders, to item 12, which is entitled Special Resolution, and this resolution is being issued unanimously when it comes to the vote of shareholders who have 3/4 of the shares represented in the Annual General Assembly. And this item, pursuant to Article 152/2 of the UAE Federal Commercial Company Law, number 2, the General Assembly's endorsement is sought to approve the transactions that exceeded 5% of the capital concluded in the past with the National Holdings Group in its capacity as a related party in Adib. It is a legal procedure which was put into effect newly, and now it is being put for approval now.
التصويت الآن، باب التصويت مفتوح. باب التصويت الآن، وتمت المصادقة بالإجماع.
This item has been approved unanimously.
سيد الرئيس،
Mr. Chairman, knowing that all items of the agenda of the Annual General Assembly has been or have been discussed and approved, allow me to move to give you the floor to end the meeting. Thank you very much indeed. Would you like to comment, any one of you? Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. We announce the end of the Annual General Assembly. May the peace of God be upon you all. Thank you very much.